we did not really understand these diseases, and we didn't understand just how much we could do with them. So it's really, really encouraging now that we're getting these results that we're getting, and I wanted to get on today and talk to you a little bit about it and explain how we're using exosome therapy with several other modalities in the office, including some nutritional supplementation that is very, very effectively reversing these diseases that in the past were very, very tricky to conquer.
Welcome to the Regenerative Warrior Podcast, Doctor's Edition, one of the fastest growing regenerative medicine and anti-aging podcasts in the world. Each and every Tuesday and Thursday, I talk to the top experts to show doctors how to market, manage, and magnify their practice to help more people and make more money. Each episode is short and to the point without wasting your time with pointless conversation. Learn the skills to be successful without traveling to seminars or paying for expensive consulting fees. Are you ready? Because I am. I'm Dr. Ross Carter, and it's time to start the Regenerative Warrior Podcast now.
Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Ross Carter with the Regenerative Warrior Podcast. Today, I have a special guest. If you would introduce yourself, please.
Hello, I am Dr. Jeanine from the Regenerative Medicine Institute in Naples, Florida.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So today, we're going to talk about autoimmune diseases, correct?
We are.
Excellent. So why don't you get us started on that?
Okay, great. So I want to talk a little bit about what autoimmune disease is and really the etiology of it so we understand how to start the process of treating it. In our clinic, we virtually have a 100% success rate if the patients follow our protocols in arresting and reversing these diseases. So let's talk about autoimmune disease and where does it actually start. Autoimmune disease actually starts in the gut, in the intestine, because what happens is the gut biome is not proper for many reasons, right? Maybe the gut biome doesn't have the proper bacteria. Maybe there's a lot of inflammation, toxicity, usually all of the above. And what happens is these patients form what we call leaky gut syndrome. Leaky gut syndrome is the precursor to autoimmune disease. So what happens is the gut has holes, perforations in them because it is not properly balanced with the proper good bacteria that we all hear about, the good bacteria and the bad bacteria, and it is not lined properly with the proper biome, mixture of good bacteria. And as a result, these perforations occur in the intestines, and there are these little leaks out of the intestine that allow the leakage from the gut, from the digestion, out into the bloodstream. As that material gets into the bloodstream, the body sees it as an invasion into the bloodstream, as an invasion into the body. The body does not recognize it. It recognizes it as a poison, and it starts to attack itself.
Which autoimmune diseases are you referring to? How many different ones are there?
Okay, I'm referring to 100% all autoimmune diseases, and the major autoimmune diseases that we know today would be fibromyalgia. Diabetes is autoimmune. Maybe a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people are not completely clear on what autoimmune is. So that's an excellent question. Osteoarthritis. Okay, systemic osteoarthritis is autoimmune. MS is part autoimmune, part neurodegenerative. Thyroid disease, any thyroid issues, which could also mean hormonal imbalances, all starting with the autoimmune condition. So all of these conditions, plus many more, I'm probably not thinking of everything right now, anything in the autoimmune, these are some that people don't recognize as your everyday autoimmune diseases, are all autoimmune in etiology. And they all start from this leaky gut syndrome.
Okay, so you're saying that all autoimmune diseases are caused by a digestive disorder. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I'm saying that they're all caused from the leaky gut syndrome, from the perforation of the material getting into the bloodstream, and the body is attacking itself. Yes, all autoimmune. That's exactly what autoimmune is. The body is attacking itself.
Now, do you have any studies that show that all these autoimmune diseases are all caused by leaky gut conditions?
Studies? No, you don't study the etiology of the disease. You study the cures, and we do. So we have lots of studies on, by the way, I'm going to add another one in there, Alzheimer's disease is part of all of that. We didn't know exactly that the etiology of that was going back to the gut biome and all of this. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty sound knowledge on what's going on with leaky gut and how the autoimmune conditions are working. We studied the prognosis with the treatments is basically how you're doing studies when you're doing these kind of studies. So yes, they do exist. And clinically speaking, we see the results of our treatments over time, and they're very, very effective. And we use exosome therapy from umbilical cord exosomes, as well as some other particular products and services, including some technologies that we use in the office that can bring the patients into homeostasis and get them to feeling better and get their lives back. So it's very, very encouraging because in the past, we did not really understand these diseases and we didn't understand just how much we could do with them. So it's really, really encouraging now that we're getting these results that we're getting. And I wanted to get on today and talk to you a little bit about it and explain how we're using exosome therapy with several other modalities in the office, including some nutritional supplementation that is very, very effectively reversing these diseases that in the past were very, very tricky to conquer.
Okay. So tell me how you're using your exosomes. Are you doing IV or are you doing something else?
Okay, so we actually use the exosomes via IV. They're administered IV for this application for the autoimmune. And the concept with that is that it brings down the inflammation in the body because when you have the leaky gut syndrome, you'll have a tremendous amount of inflammation in the body. And the exosomes are very, very effective at bringing down the inflammation, hence starting the healing process. Now, prior to the stem cell intravenous implantation, we do prepare the body much as a person would prepare a garden for those exosomes to function at the highest capacity. And so there's some work that we do both before and after the stem cell implantations, if you will.
What do you do to prepare your body for this therapy?
So in preparing for the therapy, we use a very specific product that's an aloe vera-based product with mucopolysaccharides that's very, very effective in healing the gut biome. So heals up those perforations. So this process is maybe a couple of weeks. It will start prior to the stem cell implantation and also post-exosome implantation so that it's going to continue to work as the body is continuing to heal. As you know, it's a process. Healing is not overnight for something like this. This is something that takes some time to heal.
Now, you said stem cell, but you meant exosome, right?
I meant stem cell exosomes, right? So we're using...
stem cell exosomes, okay. Got it now.
Stem cell exosomes. We use the umbilical stem cell exosomes without the DNA, just the messenger RNA that does the communication. And they are very, very effective to turn on the body's own stem cells. So when we lay down the proper foundation and create the proper soil, so to speak, inside the human body, it creates a very, very nice environment where these exosomes can come in the body and work much more efficiently to heal the body.
So you start with a couple weeks of this aloe vera therapy to help heal the digestive tract to some degree. And then you add exosomes to the mix. And is there something you do immediately afterwards, or does the patient wait, or how does that work afterwards?
Okay, so what we do is we also make sure that their diet is in alignment the way it should be in terms of a healthy diet for the gut biome. If they're doing bad things like sugar or fried food or all the bad things we know are not good, maybe too much meat for their body, things like that, we put them on a cleaner diet. We continue with the mucopolysaccharides, which, by the way, is also an immune modulator and also stimulates stem cells. We actually have a name for this product, but it does all of the above. They stay on that program. The other thing that we add to that post-exosome implantation is...
Hi, sorry for the interruption. This is Dr. Ross Carter. Frequently, I get asked, who are the best companies for stem cell products, exosomes, marketing, consulting, and other products and services mentioned on this podcast? The mission of this podcast is really to provide free education for doctors in regenerative medicine and anti-aging. And after extensive research and negotiation, we've worked out special pricing for all of our listeners. And I put this together in one place. To learn more, just call us at 866-9-WARRIOR. Again, that number is 866-9-WARRIOR or 866-992-7746.
The other thing that we add to that post-exosome implantation is red light therapy for certain patients, particularly fibromyalgia patients. When we add our red light therapy into the mix, we could get relief for a fibromyalgia patient within 1, 2, or 3 visits. And the red light therapy stimulates the mitochondria. It also stimulates those exosomes. So everything here is working in conjunction together. It works all synergistically. So It's very, very effective to do this. Then what we'll do is we'll monitor the patient for 3 months, and we will see how the progress is going. And depending on how the progress is going, we'll start and we'll do another exosome intravenous. And this could be 1, 2, or even 3 cc's of exosome, depending on what the need is at the time. Generally speaking, when we start the program, we'll start with 3 cc's. It's like a nuclear bomb, right? Getting in there and getting that inflammation down. Over time, that will drop down. They may or may not need a second exosome IV. That will be determined by the blood work, because we could see how the inflammation's doing, and their symptoms.
What
Generally
markers are you
speaking,
using on the blood work mainly?
We're using the classical IgG and allergic markers. We're also looking at other indications in the blood. I mean, we're really looking at everything. We like to look at how the body is responding in general. Remember, it could be very dependent on their condition. So if it's an insulin issue, we're looking at that. If they've got thyroid markers, we're still looking at that. We'll look at it very specifically, not only the allergic markers and not only the generalized inflammation, but specifically to their conditions, if that makes sense. So if they have a thyroid issue, if they've got diabetes, whatever it is, we're looking at all those markers. So we're going to looking and seeing how that disease is progressing. Somebody like with diabetes, they may need to get this 3 or 4 more times before we really can arrest that diabetes. But we'll get there with it. And that's with both type 1 and type 2 diabetes, believe it or not. So it's a process over time, but we can really, really manage and stabilize these conditions.
Well, it sounds almost too good to be true, honestly, because, I mean, when you say that you get so many people, well, based on one kind of treatment option, it does sound a little bit difficult to believe because, I mean, there are so many different potential causes to many of these conditions. So it sounds...
Well, no, not really. So that's...
Okay, go.
That's really not true. So that's precisely what I want to demystify.
Go ahead. So how is it not true?
Okay, they're all... Okay, so the cause for all of this stuff goes back to the original part of the conversation. For autoimmune, the cause is this leaky gut. When you can fix this gut biome, you can get these diseases back into balance. Now, you may have to adjust their diet to get that gut biome back together. You may have to adjust diets. They may need extra detoxification. There may be other things that you have to do. But the reality is when you get this gut biome in balance, you can reverse these diseases. And it's very important for doctors to know that we have that ability. And we've got a product that we've been using, and I've worked with the developers of this product. It's been around for 20 years, and we've just had humongous success with this, adding the exosomes and some other therapies that we do in the clinic, including functional medicine, where we're monitoring their blood work, where we're monitoring their diet, and we're keeping them on track. We're having virtually 100% success in improving these patients. So it's really, really exciting. What the exosomes are doing is we were able to do this years back over time. We could do this functional medicine approach. But what's happening is with the exosomes, we are literally accelerating the healing process by 10 or 20 fold. So somebody that might have taken years to get better on a typical functional medicine program can now start seeing results in months. So it's really, really encouraging by adding the exosomes into the therapy. So the exosomes are so beneficial in combination with the functional medicine approach to healing these autoimmune diseases. It's very, very, very exciting for us, what we're seeing in the clinic.
Gotcha. That does sound exciting. So what do you see as the future for this type of treatment?
I see that as we get more efficient in terms of our processing of exosomes, I think that's going to get better because the strength and virility of the product is going to get better and better. And I think that the future of the product is just going to be in getting these, both the natural medicine and the stem cell exosomes, as they become stronger and more efficient. I think our classification is, in terms of our treatment times, are going to get better and better, and the healing process is going to get more and more efficient, and the patients will heal even faster. The future is now, and we're literally healing these people today. I hope that the future is that more and more doctors get this information in their hands and they can see that they can actually treat and help many, many people with this exosome therapy today for these autoimmune conditions, particularly with diabetes. It's so rampant. And many, many people were sort of demystifying or debunking some of these myths that are out there. Many, many people believe that type 2 diabetes or even type 1 diabetes is not reversible. And that is not true. It is absolutely reversible today. Once we understand the cause and what's going on and we get the proper diagnosis, that is the path to the healing process for these patients. And it's here today, and it just needs to get into the hands of the physicians, and they need to get the proper protocols down so that they can get out there and start helping people, because these people need help. There's, I think, 80 million Americans have autoimmune disease. It's rampant in our society. And the first thing that we all need to know is where it's starting. And one of the other things that's very important, we talk about GMOs and gluten sensitivity and all this stuff. There's a lot of this talk these days about glyphosate, and that's the Roundup from what's in Roundup, the fertilizer, the weed killer. And Monsanto, we used to think that it was gluten that was the enemy. And what we're finding is it's the glyphosate on the gluten that's actually the enemy. And so as time gets better, so one of the other things that we have to do when we're sort of detoxifying the body is we got to get this glyphosate out of their bodies. Most people are loaded up with glyphosate, and a very, very high percentage of people with autoimmune has this. So we just got to detoxify, heal the gut biome, get the exosome therapy going, watch the diet, educate people on all of this information we're talking about, because people don't realize this. They don't realize the poisons that they're putting in that are hurting the body. And then we have the ability, very naturally, without pharmaceuticals, or sometimes in combination with pharmaceuticals, and they can drop the pharmaceuticals down over time. But we do have a path to healing these diseases today. And that's not tomorrow, it's today, and it's naturally with zero side effects. And I think that's what's so encouraging about it. So that's what I came on the program today to share with you.
Fantastic. Sounds great. So if somebody's interested in learning more, how would they do that?
They could contact me, and I could share with them our protocols and, help guide them through any cases that they would want help with. And it's my pleasure to help anybody out there navigate through any of these cases, because we're getting such great results, and I wanted to share it with other physicians and other patients.
Fantastic. That sounds really exciting, and I look forward to learning more about this in the future. So thank you so much for sharing your information today. I appreciate your time.
And I just want to say something, Dr. Carter. Your podcast is so beneficial. I was listening to your podcast, and I was listening to Dr. Udo a couple of that podcast some weeks ago, and that information was very, very informative. And I was actually able to take that information and use it on myself personally and with some patients. So I just want to thank you so much for the work you're doing with this podcast. It really is making a difference.
I appreciate that. Dr. Udo is a great guy. I know him personally. Great guy.
Yeah, well, it's great. That really helped me. And I was able to help some patients. So thank you so much for the information, and keep up the good work.
That's all the time we have. If you're looking for the best companies for stem cell products, exosomes, marketing, consulting, or other products and services, please call us at 866-9-WARRIOR for the best options. Mention this podcast for special pricing and offers. That's 866-9-WARRIOR or 866-992-7746. Also, you can click the subscribe button below to be notified of all new episodes, and please like and share this podcast with others. If you found value in this episode, please comment and review. That'll help this podcast grow. If you'd like to learn more about this or any other speaker, click on the show notes or visit us at regenerativewarrior.com. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, we'd love to have you. Just go to our website and click the application link. You can contact me at Dr. Ross Carter at regenerativewarrior.com with show ideas, or if you'd like me to present at your event. Until next time, this is Dr. Ross Carter, signing off.